Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, April 11th, Sunday, April 12th. For those of you across the pond and beyond, welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, Tessa TNT, and I hope you guys had an awesome week. I hope you're not going too crazy with the whole cabin fever thing going on and then going into lockdown. Thank you for joining us on one of our many media outlets this evening. Our live chat and our live show is on Spreaker.com under We Are Paradox Media. You can check us out on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Facebook, as well as Podcast Addict. So, I just wanted to take a moment and say, I hope the sunshine has raised your guys' spirits. I've been spending a lot of time outside this week, as have my kids. We planted pumpkins and watermelons and cantaloupes, getting ready to harvest and till the garden and get that ready for planting outdoors before the last freeze. But the fresh air and the warm sun remind us that even in challenging times, the spring still shall come. So tonight we have Miss Nikki Jacobs as well as Mr. Robert White, and we're doing the life and times of a psychic. And Nikki Jacobs is a psychic medium empath and has 8 of the clairsenses. She was born with many of these senses, but noticed them as a young child where they grew and developed. Nikki has done astral travel, telepathic communication with like-minded individuals and beings, has experienced and battled negative and evil spirits and beings, including negative and dangerous telepathics and detrimental astral traveling psychics. Nikki has seen orbs, spirits, apparitions, and has received predictions and downloads on various subjects. She helps spirits if possible and is a member of the UFO I-Team, where they go on skywatches when able. Nikki has experienced a great deal of paranormal throughout her lifetime. Nikki has a strong belief in a higher power or source energy and in positive forces and energy. She is regularly learning new positive things and believes in changing one's life when necessary. Nikki is continuously learning about her ever-growing and changing senses, how they and her energy power source ebb, flow, fluctuate, and grow. And then, as well as Nikki, we also have Mr. Robert White. And Robert White, I didn't get a bio for him, but he is a psychical healer. He has healed people that I know, even from Australia, all the way over here in the United States of America. And he's done psychical healing, he's done paranormal investigation, and he works on stones, which he does really beautiful work. If you guys ever have time, go over to Robert White's Facebook page and check out his work. So Nikki, Robert, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So Nikki, how has life been going for you in these current events as far as COVID-19, aka coronavirus?
That's an interesting topic. Well, some people would probably tell me, oh, don't say what's going on. I'm like, oh, well, I'm one to tell it like it is. Basically, I found out my mom has COVID. She's doing well. She wasn't earlier. They still expect her to have 1 to 2 weeks of recovery, but she's out of the hospital, and I'm thankful for that. I've learned a plethora amount from the different doctors. Wow, mind-boggling stuff. There's also a bunch of different... how do I put this without breaking anything I know? Basically, there's a bunch of different test drugs that are now being used across the country, not just in Washington State, that they're trying. And I'm not just talking about the hydrochloroquine, there are actual, that one's been tested, and they know it hasn't been tested on the, not like a full test, you know what I'm saying? They haven't, done like a regular long drawn out testing for it. But there are actually other drugs that I've been reading about and have been told about that are being allowed by the FDA that normally wouldn't be. And basically, COVID-19 is a test for, it's turning into a test for some of these drugs. And that was pretty interesting, the information that I received about it, not just from doctors, but what I've actually read about it online. I keep saying it. There's so many more than just one. But there's been a lot of information about it. I've received a lot of different downloads, and I don't know how much into the woo factor you want to get into right now. Woo. Or later. Yeah, lots of woo.
I'm into all of it.
Yeah, I've unexpectedly become into all of it.
It tends to
Wasn't
happen,
quite
even though
what I intended.
Yeah, you don't plan it, but it does tend to happen.
Exactly.
You're just
No,
like,
you don't.
Shnikes.
I love that saying. I've picked that one up from you. You've picked up a couple from me.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert's shaking his head. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of information that I've recently received about how COVID-19 has come into play, what's actually going on, and it was pretty shocking stuff. The download was so massive. I think it's probably one of the biggest downloads I've ever received. And I'm finding out more information as to who possibly is providing me with those specific kind of downloads, and I'm a little rather stunned. I'm not going to go into that just yet because I'm still trying to piece that one out. Which all psychics do. I mean, you get a download and wow, hello. They can, yeah, exactly. They can either knock you off your feet, or you can be completely doing whatever, something innocuous like washing your hands or taking a walk, and you're not thinking about Boo Squat 1, and out of the blue you have anywhere from a minor download, which could be anything on any subject, and then you have something like what happened to me about 2 weeks ago, where it's so massive. It affected my body and my mind and my emotions all at once, and I've had that happen a few times, but many years ago. And this was one that it took me a while to physically recover. It really knocked me out. And I was very, very thankful that I was on a group Skype call at the time, and there were a number of other psychics on, and I was very well taken care of. Let's just put it that way, because this one really, it had government shit in it, and I will say shit, because it was that in a nutshell. And wow, stymied, but I don't even know what to say about it. It was just so overloaded with information. I had over 400 images put in my head all at once. I had images of scientists, of government officials, of military officials, of oh man, just everything you could imagine. And so you have, for me at that time, the download revolved around images. It revolved around audio, also around sensations and smells, physical sensations, smells, video. What I don't know what else to call it. It's like somebody played miniature videos in my head, and this all happened in a fraction of a second. And it overemphasizes, overstimulates every, not just psychic sense a human has, but every physical sense too. So downloads can get kind of interesting for a psychic, and they can hit you out of the flippin' blue. And I had one many, many years ago. Well, I had a number many years ago, but the one that I'm thinking of, I actually had shockwaves, actual shockwaves, concussion waves through my entire body on those. And this one a couple of weeks ago was somewhat similar, but oh, so much more intense. So yeah, life as a psychic gets really interesting, to say the least.
And Robert, I didn't have a bio for you. Would you like to tell our listeners a bit more about you?
Yeah, okay. I've been...
Oh, come on. Don't be shy.
Similar to what Nikki does, similar to what she's had in her past. I've seen ghosts and spirits. I haven't done for a while now though, but I can hear them. I have several guides or whatever you want to call them that sort of transfer information from one side to the other. As you said, I can heal, and yes, Jojo, I did read your comment. I can help you with your knee.
Man, those things, I swear.
Yeah, I know. If we didn't need them, we'd float. Yeah, but I've been gradually getting better at what I can do because I've been practicing, and it's all a matter of doing these things in repetition. So you build more muscle memory and strength in the mind of what you can pick up and all that sort of thing. Because if you don't practice, it just deteriorates.
Well, it is true, and that's with anything. If you don't practice, you're going to lose the whole potential or living or whatnot that you've done. Like, you're going to lose all that energy that you put into it. It's going to kind of luster off into the background.
Yeah,
practice,
it sure
practice,
will.
Practice.
Yeah, it will peter off if you don't use it. But yet at the same time, for some people, it doesn't peter off at all. So it just depends. It depends on, it depends on a lot of factors. How is it for you, Robert? Does it actually go down or slow down?
It ebbs and flows with I found it sort of with the moon, as well as a few other things that are affecting the weather and whatnot. So if it's a stormy, thundery night, I get an increase because of I think because of the electricity in the air and the atmosphere. If it's a clear, moonless night, it sort of ebbs off.
It's interesting the different things that happen during different moon phases, for sure.
Definitely.
We actually did a live ghost hunt for the pink full moon, And we went into our own backyard where the tree fort is, where different paranormal experiences have happened. And nothing wanted to happen until right as soon as it hit 3 a.m. in the morning. And then you're hearing movement. You're hearing like a music box. And we're like, well, maybe it's the chimes. So we went around the building and checked, and the wind chimes are not blowing. There's no wind blowing. And then we heard it again. Once we went to the tree fort, we heard the music again. And then the kids were like, it's cold. I want to go inside. And I didn't want to stay out there by myself. I'm not brave like Frank on Franco TV. Like, I didn't want to stay out there by myself. And I even went out there last night by myself because I saw this video where they're doing lockdown. And this person goes out and sees all these lights coming out of the sky. And he's like, you wonder why we're on lockdown? Well, this is why. And so I went out a little after 3 a.m. last night and looked. And as I was standing out there, there was a shuffling in the gravel of something quite large. I don't know what it was. I hauled ass inside and I was like, fuck this. I ain't staying out here. It was scary. I was like, what the hell is that? What is that? I have no idea what that was, but that was insane.
That would be frightening. You didn't receive any hits on it or anything? Any psychic hits or anything? Or intuition other than it's just big?
All I know is it was big and I was scared and I was not going to face that on my own. Forget about it. Holy cannoli. It scared the holy shnikes out of me.
That's the second time I've heard that today. I think BTO is with us. Wow. That kind of threw me earlier this afternoon, and I just went, BTO, is that you? And I'm like, wait a minute. If people who are listening who don't know, BTO was a nickname of a friend of all of ours who passed away last year, I believe, and a sweet guy, and we all very much love him and very much miss him. And there's a lot to say about BTO, but that's just where I will leave it. And he does. He comes around and he'll nudge in, and pretty soon you're saying certain things. It's like, wait a minute, that's not me. Where the heck did that come from? And you realize, oh my God, yeah, exactly. It's him, you know. Oh God, yeah.
Forget about it, says Jojo in the chat room. Forget about it.
So yeah, very much loved, and I truly believe he's with us. Yes, very much missed. I truly believe he's with us tonight. So anyway,
I have experienced him many times, not only like in here, but in my house. I actually saw him. I had family over. I think it began as Thanksgiving and it went all the way till Christmas. Like, I had family here way too long in my house. And I was telling the teenagers, stay out of Amanda's room. She had gone to visit family. And she was renting, or whatever you want to call it, from us. She was supposed to do work in exchange for housing. So I told the kids not to go in there, and I heard the click of the light switch. It's very loud, very prominent. I heard the click of the light switch. So I get out of bed, put my clothes on. I'm going out, and I see this person closing the door, turning like right shift, right flank, whatever you want to call it, military style, whatever, like an abrupt right shift, and then walking into the living room, around the corner, and then gone. And so I run down the hallway really quick. I'm trying to catch whoever the hell this was. I look in my dining room, look in my kitchen, there's nobody there. Look on the front porch, is somebody out there smoking? There's nobody there. But the person I saw was wearing like gray sweatpants and a yellow sweatshirt, and they had like shoulder length kind of loose curly hair. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it was BTO. So I think he was kind of closing the doorway to this realm and moving on to the next. But he is a big part of my life. He really encouraged me to continue on with my show and go my own way, away from SOR and such. And he was one of my support systems, and I really do miss him. He gave me some pointers, hence why I bought the shot glass. Oh, I think Nikki's hearing something. No?
No, I was making a request.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was interesting to see
just found
him.
out,
Go ahead,
just found
Robert.
out Sandra's mentioning that it's his birthday today, so that's probably why he's been active.
Happy birthday, BTO, and it's so weird. I've had so many different experiences today. Okay, so I always get in the shower around 4 p.m. and I got out, got dressed, did my deodorant and everything, and got in front of the mirror, and all of a sudden the light flicked off and flicked on and flicked off and flicked on and flicked off and flicked on, and then it was gone. Like it was just a light again. And I was like, that was weird. And then I came in here and I was doing my makeup, and I have two of those, what are they called? Social lights. One's a little tiny one, one's a big one. And my little one that I used to do my makeup and stuff was flickering. So I changed the outlet for it because it was plugged into the lights that are behind me, and changed it over to a different outlet so it could be on its own. And it didn't flicker for a while, and then it started flickering again. It was so weird. It makes total sense. Happy birthday, BTO, aka Carlos.
Yes, definitely. Happy birthday, hun. Aww. We love and miss you.
Yeah, Carlos. Happy birthday.
Yeah, he's like, I bet you can't guess my name. It starts with a C, and I'm like, Carlos, and he's like,
hey. I got the younger version when I first tried it. Was Carl Lito or Carl something or other, but I did get it was Carlos.
Carlos. Yeah, he's like, what? You guessed it like first time. And then I was doubting myself. I was like, guessing other names, but it was Carlos. I so do miss him and his energy. He had such a young energy and such a very mature perspective, and his perspective was very cool. The whole shattered spirit thing, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, or if we should move on to other things like early experiences in the paranormal that led you on this path. What would you guys like to do?
I'm open. Well, okay. The earlier stuff. Wow. I don't even know the stuff that sent me on the path that I'm on right now. I got to quit doing the thing. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Basically, I don't honestly know. My stuff started from birth. So the things that I remember are hearing conversations, but they weren't people in the room. Actual physical living human beings in the room. They weren't in the other rooms either. I remember hearing my family outside. I'm in a crib and I'm hearing voices in what is my bedroom. And they're, I didn't understand it. A lot of that stopped after I had an ET experience, which that is a different subject matter, but because I became so frightened at that given moment in time that it closed off a lot of other parts of my abilities, and those closed off parts opened back up later in life. So you've got things where you're not understanding why you're, as a child, very young child, why you can feel the emotions of other people, but yet they may not have been in the room, or where people are having regular conversations, but they've kept their what they appear on the outside. They've kept their emotions from their face. They've kept it from their voice, and you can actually hear them on the inside, and not so much what they were thinking, but everything that they were feeling. And as a little kid, that's really overwhelming. And so there were a lot of things that as a little one, I tried to understand, couldn't understand, and it just became part of my life. Then the path that I'm on now has been years and years and years and years in the making. It makes me sound like I'm 100. Gosh, grief. Anyway, but that's what it feels like right now, because the path that I'm on, I'm really stunned by. Just in the last 2 years, there's been some major differences. I don't know about you, Robert, but I know you've had some real major life changes when you were a child. How did you get through yours? Not so much get through, but how did you work through some of yours?
Well, for the first lot that I saw, they were the spirit animals that I now believe were the Aboriginals that were being controlled by, well, not controlled, but being ordered about by an elder that we saw in our bathroom, because us kids, I had two older sisters, we each saw this Aboriginal elder in war paint with the red butt flap type thing on, with a spear and one leg up on the other knee, like one foot up on the knee and that sort of balancing sort of thing. And I believe that the spirit animals that I saw were the Aboriginals doing their animal dance type thing to try and entertain me, because I was sick on the parents' bed in the front room of the house next door. And we mentioned that to the current owners, and the guy didn't sleep for about a week.
Oh, wow.
He, as far as I know, they haven't seen anything, but he just didn't sleep for a week after finding that out.
Ah!
Yeah.
What's happening? Well, that's interesting. And you said you were on the living room floor of the neighbor's house. Like, what was going on that you would be over there? Was your mom like sanitizing and stuff, or?
It was our house when I was 4 years old.
Oh, okay. But then you guys moved.
Then we moved, and then we moved back to the house next door. Yeah, where we are now.
Very interesting. It's amazing how those things happen, though. Especially when you're sick, you're kind of like in another realm or another dimension or whatnot. I remember it was the second time I got chicken pox, and I remember waking up screaming. But before that, I remember being in this different weird realm where nothing really made sense to me, and woke up screaming, and my dad's freaking out, and then I finally come to in this other realm. But it was really insane, really mind-blowing and bending for sure. The different things that fevers and such can do while you're sick to your mind. The different places you could go.
Yeah, definitely. Child's mind can do an awful lot when they're sick. Or injured, for that matter. What,
Most certainly.
No, go ahead. You had a question. I could see it.
I said most certainly they can affect things when they're kids. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just often go back to the first paranormal experience, like the first time you encountered something of the other realm, and then once you first realized your gifts and started to build upon those. Like, what age were you when you had your first paranormal experience? And then when you realized that you did have gifts that you could use to help people or yourself even. We'll start with Nikki.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I've still been trying to figure out the stinking date of how old I was. Sorry, my phone just buzzed. I keep thinking I was 4 or 5, but when I was 4 or 5, it doesn't jive with the house I was living in at the time. So I think I must have been about 6 or 7, or 6. 6 would actually make more sense. But anyway, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out the stinking date, or the timeline of it, because what I actually remember was when I was younger, and I was oh my gosh. I was, okay, folks, hold on to your seatbelts. We're getting into some major flippin' woo here on this one.
Buckle down tight and hold on loosely.
Yeah, no kidding. Because here we go. Nikki's life as a child was very interesting, to say the least. But paranormal, what is definitely classified as paranormal, is tri-alien abduction. I have memories from very, very young, being on a spacecraft. Oh, my family, if you're listening, you're going to flip a freaking gourd. Because they've never heard this. So, yeah, I have this memory of being on this, the inside of this spacecraft, being very, very young, under the age of 3, or 3 years old. I have a memory of putting my hand on what I thought was some kind of window, but I got told, and I remember not hearing actual verbal words. It was words being put into my head telling me, so basically it was somebody being telepathic with me, telling me not to touch. This is not a dream. Whoever's thinking this is a dream, get it out of your head, because I'm here to tell you this is my experience. I've been there, done this, because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling somebody's going, oh, this is a dream. No, it's not. And it wasn't lucid dreaming either in any way, shape, or form. Basically, I put my hand on what I thought was a window. Very large, massive floor to ceiling window. And I remember blue, kind of like this iridescent blue all the way around my fingers, and or both hands, because both hands were up on the window. What I kept thinking of as a window, and there was this blue irradiated light when I was touching whatever the surface of what I was touching. And I could see out into space. I could see beyond, I could see different nebulas and different things like that. But regarding of the hands on this, whatever this was, this window, I got told, Nikki, you can't keep touching that. I can't remember exactly the exact words, but I got told you can't keep touching that. It's okay once in a while, and I'm like, of course, when they said once in a while, I'm putting my hand back up. Okay, you cannot touch that. I'm putting my hand up.
Stop touching that.
Exactly. I mean, they didn't outright tell me not to. And so I'm putting my hand back and forth on this thing, and every time I pulled my hand back, it stopped, and it turned into nothing. It looked like there was nothing there. And I couldn't understand. My little 3-year-old brain didn't have the concept of why I put my hand there. This blue, electric, irradiated light, iridescent blue, would show up. And it was incredible. And I just realized, anyway, I need to not say that out loud, especially on the radio. Okay, anyhow, I just found out where the thought process was from someone about the dreaming. I was just informed. Anyway, so I had that. I had memories of being with aliens and not understanding what they were, who they were. I knew they weren't like you and I. They weren't human, obviously. But I wasn't, at that moment, wasn't frightened of them. There was some kind of calming because there were times where I got really excited about different things, seeing different lights. It wasn't in the sky, it was in blackness in front of me, and they were like, you can stand there, but don't touch anything. And I remember standing there just I was doing this little sway back and forth because I was so enamored with what I was seeing. I was actually seeing nebulas and bits of galaxy and more than just stars. And I didn't understand it, but I remember it was beautiful. And I remember being told one day we will be out here. And I went, but we're out here now. I didn't understand that what they were saying was that, yeah, we as human beings will be out here. Well, and eventually I was told one day we will be out farther than this. Not recently, in the last year and a half, I started seeing different things from NASA being put up. And there was one where I was walking through my kitchen and I had a glass of iced tea in my hand and I had my phone in the other. And here on my screen is an image that NASA had put out of, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name of it at this second. Anyway, I took one look at it, and it's a good thing my iced tea glass was not too far from the counter because the glass slipped out of my hands. Of course, it bounced on the counter and because it was a plastic container. I have learned over the years not to use regular glass very often around me. It's not I'm a klutzer, I drop things very often. It's just with my abilities, I have learned it is safer for me not to have glass or ceramics in my hand in case I have a download that knocks me on my butt. So, yeah, knocks you backwards. Yeah, exactly. So, basically, this image that I saw that had been put out to the public, the first words out of my mouth were, "That's the Infinity Galaxy." And I actually had to put my phone down and take a deep breath because I was like, where the F did that come from? How do I know that? Why am I calling it the... And then I went, oh my God. And it started, all these, not all these memories, but all the bits and pieces started flooding back of when I'm standing in front of this window again, and not just the images, they're not images, they're actual, I was there. I don't know why. I've asked numerous different individuals that work with aliens or who aliens, and what I mean by, okay, we're going to have a little definition. When what I mean by aliens are not of this planet. Clear? Because there's a couple of, I can feel a couple that are like, no, that are not of this planet. And yes, Robert, he's showing an image right now on his screen. There's the Infinity Galaxy.
Oh, wow.
And
Infinity.
Yeah, I mean, it literally looks like infinite, this symbol for infinity. And I remember thinking, I've got to go sit down or I'm going to collapse. And I grabbed my tea, my phone, and I went and sat down. And I was just flooded with memories of a child seeing. I didn't remember when I was little, you've got all these memories, and I had a psychic once tell me, oh, they were astral traveling with you at that moment in time. No, this was not actual astral travel. I was physically there. And I like I said earlier, I've since asked certain individuals who do know, and they're like, it is extremely rare that any of the races of aliens would do that. There are a couple of reports of that happening, but to take you out into space itself, far away from Earth, and to bring you back, it's not unheard of, but it's incredibly rare. I have since learned in the last year and a half that there are others who were like me. They have actual relationships when they are taken. They remember, they're still being taken. They remember, and they remember all of their life and all the different things that they did. I don't. I have sections of my memory that I have locked out for very good reason. And do I still get taken? Yes. Am I happy about it? Are you freaking kidding me?
What kind of question is that?
What the I didn't really, for those that have known me for about 30 years, I didn't think about this during a large section of my life. I just thought, oh, this is nothing. That's the things you do to logically tell yourself what exists and what doesn't. There was a lot of that for me. And I've known people, I've met people who are repeat abductees, or the other term is contactees. There are a lot of abductees who can't stand the word abductee. They would rather be classified as a contactee. I'm an abductee. I don't consider it being a contactee right now because let's just put it this way. When you know that you're being experimented on and you're having parts of you removed, pieces of tissue that you know is being removed from you, that kind of tends to piss me off royally. And, it's kind of ridiculous to think, and this is me saying this to me, it's ridiculous to think that I could physically fight these beings off, because I'm here to tell you, I'd like to chop them into tiny little frickin' bits. And that's not physically doable because they subdue you. They put you into a different frequency. They put your body into a different frequency and literally lift you through windows, through walls, through floors, through ceilings, through roofs. And I'm here to tell you, I never thought I'd be talking about this ever. And I went, you know what? It's time to stop hiding this. I don't care anymore what people think of what has happened in my life. To be honest, I know what's happened in my life. I know what has gone on in my life. I know I'm not nuts. There are things that I've gone through in my life that I know that are very important, that are build-ups to what's going on right now. And it's been, life is a learning lesson. Each fragment of our life, we learn. We go through for specific reasons, for whatever that learning is. And in that learning, what I've unexpectedly learned is that my life is coming to a crescendo right now. There's quite a bit of it to where things are happening and shaking, and they're happening and shaking in a big flippin' way. I'm trying really hard not to use the F word.
It's all good. If you slip up, I'll just change that little dash mark.
I'm really trying hard not to, because I
And
know
even
there's
on YouTube, I'm like, no, this is not made for kids.
No, this is not made for children. So, yeah, and I'm starting to shake because I've hit a couple of topics that just kind of freak me out a bit, and one of them is being taken. Know that I'm feeling my body go through being stripped of clothes. That alone, where you're not doing that yourself, or someone you love is not the one doing that, and you are feeling your body stripped of clothes, and you're feeling your body actually go through sheets and blankets, and the next thing you feel is you're ice cold because, hello, you're butt ass naked out in the weather. You're not feeling the rain, but hello, you are feeling ice cold if it's winter time. I'm here to tell you that is not. And they don't care. That's the other thing, is there's no concept of they literally do not give a rat's ass how you're feeling, because there's no concept of emotion and that kind of feeling by them. Now, these are different, I'm going to say individuals. I'm being polite because I have a few choice words I'd like to call them. The ones that take me now, yes, Robert, he's mouthing something, and I'm like, I'm not repeating that one. They can see it on YouTube. Slide it over. Yeah, bad word. Very much bad word. So the ones that are abducting me now are different than the ones that were taking me as a child. I've had 3 sets of beings take me. The first ones were benevolent. The second ones, I have been told what race they are. They are now for those that know the names of these races or species, whatever you want to call them. I've heard the term both races and species. I don't care what you want to call them. But the name of the race is called Daemon.
Oh, wow.
Deamon. Now, that's the second one. They presented themselves to me when I think I was about 6 years old. And that's the date that I'm still trying to piece out, figure out what year it was, because I know exactly where I was living. And I know how long I was living there for. I just haven't. There's so much other information that is going on right now for me that I'm just trying to piece it all out, put it all together like a huge flippin' jigsaw puzzle. And I have an eidetic memory, so I remember everything. And when you remember absolutely everything and can describe everything in every room you've ever been in, I don't put that into practice very often. Believe me, that's not fun. I've actually been tested on that by people who are like, oh, I don't believe that. What do you... Oh, trust me. Try me.
What are you talking about? Holy cannoli.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
on that note, we do have to go to our first break. And on this musical break, we have Nonye Toria, and I always pick my music specific to my guests, and I know Robert's here, so he doesn't have to listen to the music. So I have Nonye Toria, who has a somewhat Jamaican background as far as her music goes, and she's from Ghana, South Africa, and she's going to be singing Gban, as well as Yanga, and then we have King Simon singing Fantastic, as well as Al A Imo. So you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this musical break.
Ow! Funky, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Let go. So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you whine, I'm no darling, hold your neck, 'cause I'm coming with my bum 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 bum, with my bum 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 bum. Ow! Thank God it's Friday. I need the right dress for this party. No sleeping, no darling. All my girls wanna do is get rowdy. Mama go, why buy me Joe? Aye, mama go, why buy me Joe? Ah, mama go, why buy me Joe? Mama go, why buy me Joe? So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you whine, I'm no darling, hold your neck, 'cause I'm coming with my bum 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 bum, with my bum 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 bum. Ow. Get down on the floor, I gon' make you wax some more. I got feeling, why buy me Joe? Miracle, let come Jojo. I don't send nobody. Oh yeah, make you move your body. If you wanna just touch my body, I gon' make sure you tell a story. I don't send nobody. Oh yeah, make you move your body. If you wanna just touch my body, I gon' make sure you tell a story. Mama go, why buy me Joe? 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 So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you whine, I'm no darling, hold your neck, 'cause I'm coming with my bum 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 bum, with my bum 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 bum. Get down low. Yeah, 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 yeah. So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you whine, I'm no darling, hold your neck, 'cause I'm coming with my bum 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 bum, with my bum 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 bum. So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you whine, I'm no darling, hold your neck, 'cause I'm coming with my bum 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 bum, with my bum 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 bum. We swap on speed.
She like my water bam bam. King Cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. gather, baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, brokotom. I like the way you want your brokotom. Baby girl, brokotom. I like the way you want your brokotom. Jamaica, Ghana, shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Please me, baby. Yeah. Turn up from you. Yeah. Make your bam bam anywhere you day. Make your bam bam if it's a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Make your bam bam if it's a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Give me love, give me love. Show me love, show me love. Oh, give me love, give me love. Me want you, me love you. Give me love, give me love. Give me love, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Oh. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bam bam anywhere you day. Throw your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Throw your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. King Cinnamon. You know what I'm saying?
We spoke on the mix. Lift it all. Show me your yanga, show me your yanga, eh. Show me your yanga, eh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
None, yeah.
Yeah. I love music, Niger music, Niger. That it's Friday. The way you're shaking your waist, don't stop till you dance all day. With a groove, the Niger way. If you like to Atlanta, take it back. Niger music is alive. We got the hottest music out there. You know, start from today. We'll be hitting it from Monday to Sunday. Everybody get ready. It's time for us to get steady. Everywhere we go, Niger music now number one. Niger music. Show me your yanga.
Swap on the beat.
Kanyi kele Chineke makwa na limo mbunde njem ọnụ. Kanyi kele onye nwụwa imakwa na limo mbunde njem ọnụ. Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Elegamo, making head ya. Ebere marama, Obana marama, Yes lady marama, Her Excellency, Emeka Edio Hama, Emeka Edio Hama, Omenka Unanya Nidio Hama, Omenka Unanya Wa, Emeka Meki Modima, Emeka Modima, Emeka put down no boy. Oh yeah. Wa wulenu. Emeka put down no boy. Welcome Adima. We me wan posto. Emeka Meki Modima. Emeka Meki Modima. Ndem jejemba. Mwan jejemba. Ndem jemano. Deputy Governor Imo State Chilike. Gerard Ronna Karaka, Wokoma Dima, Warabo, Deputy Governor, Willie Deregima, Alukuta Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onya Jemonu, Stanley Wamuche Karaka, Stanley Onya Babamba, President Good Life Foundation, Shirike, President General, Senate Group of Companies, President General, Financial Matter Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onya Jemono, Frankie Neji Shiriko, Pepe Arabido Hotels, ABC Transport Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Uchonya go chande, Honorable Wokoma Dima, Onye Horo Nyakeleni Yao, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Njigari Chinala, Imo State, yo, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Minigari Zonala, Imo State, Alo Were Diregima, Alo Were Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, the chairman, Orange Drugs Limited, Jisa Anthony Ifani Chubundu Business na Ishirike, Ikenga Dichele, pride of his people, most outstanding one, Okoma Marama, Iborabo, Alo Were Diregima, Alijato Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Honorable Jogwagu Shirike, Honorable Bina Shirike, Jere Labosa Shirike, Tochukwo Kereke Shirike, Okahupe Shirike, Injina Benina Shirike, Onyamana Construction, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Onya Shiwore Hebowarani, Ejemu Imarama, Wokoma Jemba, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Wiz Popule, Ibo Felamo, Onyamana Pito, Akana Kompa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Ludiriwa, Wokome Jemba, CEO Elizabeth Ventures, Ikaraka, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alime Gerelo, Alime Gerelo. Thank God I'm from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate Imo State. Make you jubilate, make you celebrate. Emeka Shikwen Nikki say, this one no be say them say, Emeka has come to rejuvenate Imo State, celebrate, make we jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa, mekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Hakim. Yemaka Right Honorable BDK, mekele kwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziena limo. Alima de lama.
Cliffito.
Welcome back, you guys, and thanks so much for joining us on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight, our topic is the life and times of a psychic, and we have two, not one, but two psychics on our show tonight. We have Miss Nikki Jacobs, and then we have Mr. Robert White from Australia, Nikki Jacobs from Washington. Welcome back, you guys. Thanks so much for being on the show tonight.
Hi, thank you for the invite.
I'm excited.
Hi.
Okay, so we were in discussion in the chat room, and Mr. Hotep said, holy shnikes, Nikki, can you move your camera to where you're more in the... Okay, yeah, move it more that way. That you just moved it. More. Until you're all the way to the side of the screen.
Like that?
Yeah, let me get back a little bit. There we go. I got you now. Okay, so, due to requests in the chat room, which I totally agree with, we should do a shot for our friend BTO, who is on the other side and doing astral hops and visiting us all, including our friend, Miss Sandra. He's visited all of us, and yes. I'm sure Corrine is in there as well. I even saw him in my own house, and at first I didn't know who it was, and then I was like, holy shnikes, that was BTO. But we're going to all say a little thing for BTO and cheers and do a shot for him on his birthday, as would be fitting. And I just want to say thank you to BTO for keeping my open mind more open and giving me a different outlook on life as far as the whole shattered soul sort of syndrome that he would talk about, and just his different outlook, even though he thought nobody was really interested. I was very interested, and I always wanted him to speak of it. So cheers to BTO and him on the other side doing his astral hop and visiting us all. And I'll pass it on to Nikki.
Well, here's to BTO with all of his insights. He was incredible with his insights. And always, always, always a really good word of love and encouragement for anyone who needed it. And I really, really appreciated that, because there were times where he and I would have conversations privately where he knows. Thank you, dear one. I very much, very much appreciate it and love you. Thank you. Robert.
The omniverse is a little bit more empty now that you're beyond it.
Indeed.
Yes.
Salut.
Oh.
Salut. Chink.
Chink, chink.
Happy birthday, BTO.
Yes, definitely. Happy birthday, BTO.
Up the nose.
Woo! Happy birthday beyond the omniverse. I know when I saw you smelling that, and you have to smell it before you take a shot, or else you risk the,
Yeah.
Spitting it out, kind of, when you go to drink it. You get that thing going on. Smell and then enjoy. But thank you, BTO, for all your wisdom and knowledge and helping us to open our minds further and to see this different aspect of what could be the other side.
Definitely. Definitely.
I truly, truly do miss him, but like we were talking about before, he is quite often here, and we even have tech issues due to that, but...
Yes, that's true, we do. Oh, man.
But it's all good tonight. It's BTO's birthday. Everybody celebrate. Take an extra drink just for BTO. Or pour it out on the floor. If you're loading a bowl, put some weed on the floor. And do a couple ducks, for the drive-bys. Because we're in New York. Yeah. Forget about it. Holy cannoli. These guys have lost their ever-loving minds. But, yeah, we miss you, BTO. And you're here with us every episode as we do go off into the sunset or what may be the sunrise beyond the Omniverse. And that's something we put into tribute every night that we can, if we don't go too late. Sometimes I'm like, holy shnikes, I'm missing time. I gotta go. What do I say? But yes, BTO, he was amazing, and I really did appreciate his insight and thoughts and knowledge of certain things. He was quite amazing.
Very much so.
And the same age as me. That's what freaks me out. I have so many friends my age, and I remember when my dad, when I was living with him, he was freaking out about all his friends that were passing away and dying and stuff, and now I'm at that point, and I'm just like, holy shnikes, this person was like the same age as me, and he's dying of liver failure, and this person's dying of cancer, and this person's dying of kidney failure, and this person of diabetes, and wow, when's it my turn? I don't want to know.
Right on. That's exactly it in a nutshell. Unfortunately, I know when I go.
That's how my mom was.
I just saw that, a couple of months ago, about 2 months ago. I don't know exactly, but I know I'm old.
You are only old once you admit it, so don't admit it. Just stay in denial.
Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. Which would then defeat the purpose.
That's my favorite line. My kids are like, what?
I used to have a very dear friend who would joke about that, but he was dead serious because of what he used to do.
Ain't joking. Better
no, he was. He wasn't. He worked for. Yeah. Anyway, that's beside the point. Anyhow, where the heck were we?
Man, we were talking about past experiences and stuff. Robert, I don't think we got to you. Like, when you were younger, did you have a young paranormal experience that set you on this path of looking more into the paranormal?
Well, aside from the spirit animal ghosts and seeing the Aboriginal, I think now, just recently, I've come to the conclusion that I might have been taken as well by alien. It was about the same time that Halley's Comet was going by. And I had just learnt to whistle, and I was whistling in bed at night, and the sisters were saying, "Shut up, Robert!"
Yeah, but I know how!
And yeah, I then had an image of about 4 or 5, like they looked like skulls, but they were elongated. Sort of like one of the ones that I have over there on the shelf. And they were just sort of hovering around, floating around, and I then felt myself being picked up. And I don't think I've told this story before to many people. I then felt like I was outside in our backyard, which we had a slippery slide connected to the pool, but it wasn't in this particular vision of it. But I was up on top, I was sliding down, and instead of just the drop at the end, it sort of looped up, and I was up and flying. And then after that happened, I felt myself drop onto my bed. And there was definitely a space, like a boing, because it had springs in it, and I could hear the springs go boing. Yeah. So I think I might have been taken at that point, but I'm not sure what happened. And then shortly after that, I found a lump in my foot. So I think that might have been something to do with it.
So after the swelling went down, did you feel around and see if you could feel like a different lump, like a smaller little disc type shape or something?
It's never come down. It's always been the same size. Ooh. And it's a little bit of incision looking like thing at the top end of it. So I don't know whether there might be something in there. I've asked to have it X-rayed, but they never would, the doctors and all that sort of stuff. So the last explanation I was given to it was the veins are crossing over one another, and it's sort of making the area filled out like it is. But I don't think so.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be like that your whole life and not just recently?
Well, it was. I was about 12, I think, when that happened.
Jeez, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Is it normal?
And
Is it normal?
well, I
Like
have
it could
shown
be
the
due
doctor-
to hormones and such, the reason why it swelled. Due to
They
other
haven't-
reasons why other things swell. But, I mean,
Mm.
hormones being what they may,
Mm.
could it be something else? Could it be a chip? Could it be an
I don't know.
implant? And then people are talking about these different implants being put into you as a antivirus or whatever.
Tracking device. Yeah.
It's weird how a lot of people that did take the flu virus are now positive for the coronavirus. Like, to me, that's weird. And even the doctor was like, so do you want your kids to get the flu virus vaccine? And I'm like, no, because we're so late into the season. And
Yeah.
she didn't even ask twice. She's like, okay. Usually they're like, are you sure? But she's like, okay, she let it go. And then all these people that do get the flu virus, like people in prison, people in nursing homes, they're all testing positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is the number 19th version, so what they're testing might be 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, etc. But it might just be registering as 19 because it's still part of the coronavirus strain.
It's very freaky indeed. I actually, yesterday spent a lot of time looking at different masks and such, and then I got 3 for the adults, and then 3 for the kids, 2 for the little ones, but 1 for if anything happens to their mask. But I got masks, filters. The only thing I don't have right now is gloves. Like, I have gloves for myself, but not for everybody. It's just a really weird time in our lives, like somewhere we thought we would really never be, even though you look back and there's like 15 and plus, like major viruses, Black Plague, holy shnikes, what is it called? The bubonic plague. So many different plagues caused by fleas, and then the H1N1, the bird flu. Like, taking 200 million to 500 million lives, or even 100 million. It's insane what has happened in the past, and everybody's like, this is the first time these devastating things have happened to us, when in reality, it's not. We're about number 20 or 24 on the plague virus when really crazy things have happened. We need to kind of take deep breaths, chill out, and move along.
Move along. Nothing to catch here. Move along.
Nothing to see here. Oh, man. And I was talking on break, and I don't know if I talked about it on air, but I went to Walmart, I got things I needed, and I put them on the little belt conveyor thing, and you have marks on the floor where it shows how far apart you should stay. And this old lady was standing there so close to me, and I'm like, well, maybe it's because my stuff is back here, so I scooted it all up to the beginning. And then she put hers on. And then she was still, like, right here next to me. And I'm like, get off me. Like, why are you not doing... Okay, do you not see these marks on the floor? Like, how far away from me you should stay? And I'm starting to freak out. But I'm not saying anything because if I do, it's going to come out very not reverent. Like, very not nice. Like, bitch, get off me. You're heavy. Or, don't you know the fuck to stay away from me? Like, 6 feet? Get the fuck off me. But I'm thinking perhaps she was just lonely or needed to be close to someone. I don't know. And she was even wearing a mask, which made me feel like not so uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm just like, holy shit, this lady is like right here, like right next to me. She's basically touching me. Get off. What do you do in that circumstance?
That's like a guy going down the escalator at the shopping fair the other day for me. And I could feel him before I turned around and saw him, and he was literally right there, like you said. And I said to him, "That's not 1.5 meters." And he said, "What?" I said, "Social distancing." "Oh, get real."
Yeah, get
So I
real.
said-
Get the fuck
So
away
I
from
said,
me.
So I said,
Oh,
"Get
wow.
Corona."
My
wow.
corona.
Did you just tell me to get Corona? Yes, I did.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who just don't get it, don't want to get it, don't think it's real.
Well, I've gone in the store a lot
ridiculous.
without masks, and the last time I went in, I got one from when I went to get my anti-kid shot. And I'm like, "Hey, you got an extra one of those masks?" And she's like, "Yeah." She seemed like she didn't want to give it to me, but she did, because she'd feel guilty if she hadn't. And she gave it to me. Then I went to Walmart and I put it on, and I'm running all around the store doing things, and you have all that humidity and shit building up.
Yep.
And so when I ordered mask, I got the breathing filters on where the moisture and air goes out, but nothing comes in, supposedly. But yeah, I'm just like, hopefully these will work. And I got different colors. I got black because that's my favorite. Vern's got blue, and then Nova's got gray because that's her favorite. And then the kids have these little kid prints. But it cost me about $60 to order masks for my whole family. But it's just a weird, crazy time we're in, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like Mooney, oh, where'd it go? B.O.B., back off, bitch. I agree, Mooney. B.O.B. Man, that is not
Back
cool.
off, bitch. Oh, not you, my dear.
Yeah. Anyway.
My Sharona. Interesting.
Anyhow.
So, before you were talking about your past experiences and downloads, different visions you've had, I know you've had a lot of downloads lately. What is that all about?
Me? Yeah. A lot of downloads, understatement. Let's see. I've had downloads oh my God. Okay. So there's a lot of subjects to talk about here. Some of the downloads are about what's coming, what has far off in the distance to come, and what is going on now. The things that are going on now with the coronavirus, with earthquakes and volcano eruptions, things of that nature, they're... Okay, I'm going to state this first. I cannot stand fear-mongering. And yet, I'm being given information that I honestly, what the F do I do with? Do I state this publicly? Do I just put it out there? I mean, seriously, what, as one of your sayings is, what the crack?
What the crap?
So, yeah, here we go.
Want to talk about
Not
it?
like-
Back here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Not wanting to be a fearmonger, but yet, what do I do with the information? And I'm stuck with it. So here's a bunch of different info. And I can hear somebody going, get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was BTO.
Giddy up. Let's
Yeah,
go.
exactly. All right. For over 20 years, closer to 25, I have had 3 downloads over and over and over again over the course of 25 years. The first time, or sets of times I was having it back in the day, back in the 90s, they were, you remember when I was talking about the concussion waves, the shock waves, these were them. They were so strong, it would feel like I had concussion waves actually going through me. Oh my God. I can't even say the... Thank you! Pulverizing me.
You're welcome.
Good God. Thank you, Tessa. And then you get brain farts like that. Oh, they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it took me many years to figure out that I kept considering this one download wasn't one download. It was actually about 3 subject matters, all of which are coming into play now. And because I know I'm watched and listened to via government, they're going to actually hear this from me fully for the first time. And I'm not going to tell you how I know, but let's just suffice it to say, this is something that I do know, that they are listening and watching. So, all right, here we go. Sorry.
No worries.
One of them has to do with something triggering. I do not know what it is, but something triggering Yellowstone. Now, part of numerous downloads that I've had recently revolve around, and Spirit, oh my God, Spirit has been excessively involved in this as well. Not only have I received Spirit quotes, but communication from them. This is happening. Government does not know. They think they know, but they do not know. Now, this is current stuff. This is not back when I was receiving all these visions regarding Yellowstone and numerous mountains going up. This is sometime still in the future, but it is coming closer to passing because I'm getting warnings about it from Spirit. I'm getting warnings about it and downloads about it. So it is getting closer to happening. The current ones that I'm receiving are the facts that government does not know yet that there are fractures. Now, they know that there are always fractures when it comes to earthquakes and all that shit. But what they don't know is the fact that there are quote-unquote tunnels. There are quote-unquote lava tubes. There are quote-unquote extreme fractures that are deep underground that are interconnecting from one side of the United States all the way over to the other side of the United States. And now they've probably guessed at this already, or probably have assumed this. Geologist, USGS has probably done extensive research into that, but they don't know exactly where they're at because these are deeper than what their technology can get to right now. I've felt these. In some of the downloads, I've actually felt these. This is not pleasant, people, to feel these. And another word I was just told was fissures. I don't like words like that. Anyway, so basically, they're all interconnected, and they go for thousands of miles before they'll hit some major whatever. So the fracking that government is doing, that organizations, businesses are doing, I can't think of what they're called at the second. Brain fart right off the top of my head. Lovely. What is going on with this fracking is that they are doing so much damage because of the fracking that they are actually causing larger and larger cracks in the earth, and they are penetrating to the cracks, the fractures, the lava tubes, the tunnels. And I'm not talking inner earth tunnels. Different frickin' subject. Don't go there with me on that. Completely different subject. Okay? That's for a later conversation.
I don't know, but my left eye started twitching. I was just like, stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Stop twitching.
So and you're psychic, so I mean, when you get body twitches like that because of something that's being talked about, that's usually, we're usually hitting the topic that, radiates it, you feel it. Anyway, the point is that with all the fracking that's going on, they are severely affecting these tunnels and these deeply embedded fractures. Eventually, I don't know what the trigger point is, but eventually something will trigger in a major way one of these pipeline. I'm going to call it a pipeline. I don't know what else to call it at this second, but it will trigger this pipeline that goes into Yosemite. Yosemite triggers 3, I know for sure. 3 outside of Yosemite. It triggers 3 other major that are classified as not active. It will hit one that is active, volcanoes. Okay, so huge mountains in the Pacific Northwest, they will go up. I am not freaking kidding here. And the government of the U.S. needs to freaking listen to this, because it will happen if you do not stop what you are doing, and if you do not stop these companies that are fracking. Part of what is going to cause it is because of this damn fracking. I've never truly done extensive research into fracking, but when you're getting spirit and you're getting intense downloads of this shit, you start doing some research. I'm like, what the? This is information I don't want to have. I don't want to know this stuff. It scares the bejesus out of me.
Well, and we were talking on the after party about different earthquakes and such, and how it's getting closer and closer to Yosemite or Yellowstone or whatever you want to call it, and then all of a sudden it's about 100 miles away from there. An earthquake going on. That supposedly is way too close to home as far as that goes. Like, once that blows,
Idaho.
I swear to God, even though I'm in the Rockies and I feel like I'm safe here, I could see the mountaintops blowing off and like blowing me into oblivion, back into the dust.
Idaho recently had, if you are not aware, whoever's listening, Idaho recently had a 6-point-something earthquake. Now, how often does Idaho have an earthquake? Seriously. So, Idaho is not known for having earthquakes. They might have tremors and things like that, but it's not enough to where it's like 2-something. They don't classify that as that's nothing in the USGS world. And I only know that because I unexpectedly in the last few years know somebody. Anyway, so my point is this is coming down. I keep wanting to say pipeline, but I've already used that word in a different way. This is coming down in our future. It will happen. I have had this. They will not stop hounding and pounding this into me. It will happen. In my lifetime, it will happen. I do not know if it's going to be another 20 years out or if it's 10 years out. But it sure as hell is a lot sooner. I've had this for 25 years. The other side is being absolutely insistent. Downloads are more frequent. Within 10 years, highly, highly possible. Highly possible. Within 5, I don't want to say yes on that one just yet, unless I have more definitive information. Now, that said, that's just one of the major downloads I've had over the years, and which is coming into play right now. The other part of that download is all of the Earth's surface is creating other problems across the globe regarding earthquakes, and not just earthquakes, but unusual earthquakes and volcanoes erupting where they didn't ever expect it to go off anytime soon. No frickin' warning over these things. Look at the South Pacific. And Robert, maybe you can help me with the name of the one that went up down there. I cannot think of the name of it at the moment.
Machu Picchu.
Yes. Say that again, Robert.
White Island?
Yes.
In New Zealand?
In New Zealand, yes. So, and about 2 weeks before that went up, week and a half to 2 weeks before that went up, I kept saying there's a caldera that's going to go. Nobody knows about it. And volcano was the word that I kept getting. And then a couple of days before, about 3 days before, the word caldera kept coming up. And I posted that publicly on my Facebook page because it needed to be said. It was freaking me out. I didn't know where it was. So that said, there's been a lot of downloads I've received, a lot of spirit quotes and information I've gotten from them. And when I get stuff like that, I'm starting to post that stuff. I never used to. A number of them have happened. There was a situation in Las Vegas, Nevada, where a college dormitory went up, and I saw parts of it, and it was less than a week before it happened, and it was insisted upon me that I had to put this out publicly. Spirit doesn't typically state this has to go out publicly, but they wouldn't tell me where. So, that said, that's some of the frustrations that I get with my abilities and my psychic stuff. I tried to find out where. That didn't fly. I was not supposed to know. So, if other psychics see stuff that I'm posting about a premonition or a download, link into it. By God, if I can't get a destination, link into it. Maybe you can. I'm asking out. There are things that if I'm not allowed, because it is whether it's not just information I'm getting. If I'm not allowed to be given an exact timeline, like a day or an exact location, and you have abilities, and you're seeing me post something, and you're seeing me say I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not getting a date or an exact location, a city, by God, link into it, because maybe you can, and then start posting it underneath mine, because maybe it can save lives. That is one thing that I have learned about my abilities, is that if I can save a life, I'm going to frickin' try. And that is one thing that I've done over the years repeatedly, is try to save lives if there's any possible way that I can. So, the other downloads revolve around civil, quote-unquote, unrest and, quote-unquote, war. That's been coming into play for the last 4 to 5 years. The download was 20 to 25 years ago. It was that I don't want to see the images of what actually plays out, because every time I have receive images from these downloads, they happen. And it's not pleasant. especially things with like war on your own soil, because people are extremely unhappy. I do not want to see, excuse me, I do not want to see children killed.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to see teenagers murdered because they're standing up for what they believe in, or other humans going after other humans because of whatever is going on or is about to happen. That is extremely upsetting. And it's coming into play. There are certain things I will not state outright because the government will not see certain things coming. And it will be a learning lesson for them. And I think they need the learning lesson, to be quite blunt. Okay, at the same point, there are things that I have been given information on that, in my mind, could easily be considered screwing and, pardon me, fucking with the United States Secrets Act. There are things I will not talk about, okay? So they may get pissy with me about a bunch of shit that I say. It's not shit. It's what's going to happen. There are things that what need to happen. Wow. But Trump is definitely part of it. It's because of it's mostly because of him, but mostly okay. There's a huge percentage it's because of him. There's another percentage that it's because of what's going on right now and what's about to happen. Because of what's going on right now. The other download, so that's the second one out of 20 to 25 years worth of download. The third one, oh boy. The third one has to do with an earthquake that is so severe. I do not know, and it somehow interrelates to the first one, which is Yosemite. Mm-hmm. I keep referring to it as Yosemite, but it's either going to be Yosemite is triggered first, and then the Northwest. I was just going to say interior. Oh my God. Sorry, I just actually was given an image of Pacific Northwest, what is classified as the interior, and then given the word interior, quote unquote, that's a spirit word. I do not know why. That means something to somebody in government. That much I know. Okay, so that said, moving on. Sorry, I'm trying to move on.
No worries.
It's the Yosemite is either going to trigger the mountains, or one of the specific mountains is going to trigger Yosemite. But something triggers that. Something is the trigger point to that. Now, in all of that muck and download, this part of the other images that I see that I have are skyscrapers. I couldn't think of the word. Skyscrapers that are coming down because they are shaking so badly. It reminds me of what happened in New York on 9/11. It is that traumatic. It is not from terrorists. Do not mistake my words. It is not from terrorist action. It is from an earthquake. I do not know what city. I know it's the Pacific Northwest. The only two major cities in the Pacific Northwest are Seattle and Portland. I'm assuming it's one of them. I do not know. By God, I wish I did. But one of these visions is a massive, massive earthquake that we have not yet experienced ever. Okay? Do you know how big that sucker would have to be for us not to have already experienced it ever? That shit is beyond frightening crap. Yes, and Sandra, Vancouver, Pacific Northwest. I am so sorry. I totally forgot about Vancouver City in British Columbia.
Crazy everywhere.
Yeah, it has been. Thank you for stating that, Sandra. I appreciate that. I'm watching chat in the chat room on this. So anyway,
And Spreaker.
And Spreaker, yes, thank you. So what I see are numerous skyscrapers going cattywampus coming down, and lots of people being killed. That's it.
Very, very, very scary.
Yes, extremely so.
Well, we do have to go to our second musical break, which on this break we have Nonye Toria from Ghana, South Africa, with Kaki Monyaye. And then we have King Cinnamon with Rosie, as well as Nonye Toria with Chris Martin doing Paper Lovin'. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this musical break.
Promises I know
She know me treat her better than her man. But she a worry about the millions. You love me for true, but certain things in life you say you want to do. Hey, so you say me need to understand that you are made for a money man. But if you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah. They say I love him, but I love you more. He took me shopping sprees and bought me finer, but I crown it more. You're the one that gave me proper loving. Him, I have all the money. Everything to satisfy me vanity, but in my heart I knew you were the only one that I would be loving from now till the end of time.
Don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah.
Girl, I know you want stability, but that no mean say you fi sell your soul for vanity, no. Bright lights, fast cars at the city, and the fast lane make you lose your sanity. But me can't believe you sell yourself so short. Forget the money you will make, man, break your parts. But your life make your choice because me now make you break my heart, no. If you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah.
If you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator,
I wanted to learn the hard way, so I'm taking you to lover school. You want money just for party, girl. You take me for fool.
every piece of my heart I gave away. I gave it away to you. Why don't you understand, babe? What I feel for you is true. So
if you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah. Now, trafficator, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Nikki on the beat.
Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. All my men, then they wear out. All my guys, then they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men, then they wear out. All my guys, then they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Mukomukeji, go bere muketa. Oya mukomukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy kosi kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy tohin kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy and his baby them there for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Nine daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Nine something comma. Daddy begin the sucker. Daddy move echo. I'm on the mukeji. Daddy bere muketa. I'm on the fumilane. Daddy fisi. I'm on the edge. Daddy saucy. I'm on the edge. All my men then they go. All my guys then they go. Imarama Rosie. Imarama Rosie. All my men then they go. All my guys then they go. Imarama Rosie. Imarama Rosie. Suck my boots, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boots, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, do it softly. As you wind your body, eat the sweetie. Shake it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Shake it up my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boots, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boots, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Kissy, I'm on it. Daddy saucy, I'm on it. Daddy gossy, I'm on it. Daddy contact, harmony, daddy comfort, daddy consist, harmony, daddy con 8, daddy 120, harmony, daddy 18, daddy 240, harmony, daddy 360. Daddy and the baby, them there for color. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Daddy begin the open the shirt collar. I come to come, daddy begin the sucker. Daddy move echo, I'm on the mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, I'm on the fumilane. Daddy fisi, I'm on the edge. Daddy saucy, I'm on the edge. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Nonye Monjage Orimi Monjage Orimi Monjage Orimi Monjage Orimi Monjage Orimi Monjage Orimi. Some do good just for the doing. See everything just for the seeing. Don't even care what you're receiving. Through all the heights just for the lying. I be fine lady. I don't wanna be your baby. All I wanna do is get crazy. Wanna have me, just get ready. Now waiting, I sabi. I did tell you all my how life is. Now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. Monjage Orimi, 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 Monjage Orimi. Some people help just for the helping. Few people love just for true loving. Give everything just for the giving. Don't even care what you be receiving. I be fine lady. I don't wanna be your baby. All I wanna do is get crazy. Wanna have me, just get ready. Now waiting, I sabi. I did tell you all my how life is. Now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. Monjage Orimi, 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 Monjage 너네 몽자게 오리미 몽자게 오리미 몽자게 오리미 몽자게 오리미 몽자게 오리미 몽자게 오리미 Some do good just for the doing, see everything just for the seeing, don't even care what you're receiving, through all the heights just for relying. I'll be fine, fine, fine lady, I don't wanna be your baby, all I wanna do is get crazy, wanna have me just get ready, now wait till Nasabi, I did tell you all my how life is, now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. 몽자게 오리미 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 Some people help just for the helping, few people love just for true loving, give everything just for the giving, don't even care what you be receiving. I'll be fine, fine, fine lady, I don't wanna be your baby, all I wanna do is get crazy, wanna have me just get ready, now wait till Nasabi, I did tell you all my how life is, now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. 몽자게 오리미 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 Swag beat funky yeah 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 너네 너네 너네
Things to do.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we're joined by Miss Nikki Roberts, and Robert White. I always say Nikki Roberts and, whatever, but Nikki Jacobs and Robert White. Holy shnikes. Every time I say your guys' names together, I get them kind of colluded.
Yeah, get it reversed.
Nikki Roberts and Robert
Oh, that's
Jacobs.
funny.
And Jacob White.
And Jacob White.
No, that's
You
for
guys
something.
are just like interlinked.
Yeah,
And you
actually,
guys have done a lot of work together. Haven't you guys been fighting off some big, gigantic, historic entity recently?
oh God, yes. Yeah, actually we have. I called Robert in because I was on a call, and I gotta be careful. I was on a video call with a group of people, a small group of people. We're kind of a support group for each other, and we all have abilities. And lo and behold, we're all talking away, and I'm like, what the hell is that smell? And I couldn't sense anybody here in my home, but I could smell them. And that is unusual. Because I get astral travelers in here. It's not as often as I used to, because they have been duly warned. And we're talking away, and I'm smelling this. I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta find out what this is. And then I realize somebody's in my home, and I'm like, okay, who the hell are you? Come to find out, it's a child relative of mine, and they were terrorized and terrified and came to Nikki. And they were in astral form, and I talked to the guys on the phone call or on the video call, and we're like, what? All of us put our heads together and went, what the hell is going on? And she was being terrorized by a 1,200-year-old evil spirit. And I went, not on my watch. You don't.
Not in my house.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't F with children. No way in hell I'm going to put up with that crap. And it took a little bit to calm her down. And I went, okay, you guys do what you guys are going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I know for a fact I'm going to need backup from Robert because he has capabilities that I do not have. And he's damn good at what he does. And I went, okay. So I've got an energy ball going, and it's as big as a beach ball. Bigger. Yeah, it was huge. It was huge, man.
It was like China.
Yeah. And they get Robert on the call and update him, and I'm like, you know what I need? He goes, yeah, I'll be out. Hey, right there. Take it away, dear boy.
Well, I got in there and saw that Nikki was there doing the energy transfer into the huge ball that she had going on, and she asked me to help with both squishing this thing and getting rid of it. So that's basically what I did. I manipulated the energy around it to flatten it, and at that point it shattered basically into about 5 different parts. And that's what Nikki asked, if I could see how many parts there were, and I said there were 5 that I could see, and cleared away 3 of them, and 2 were remaining. So we basically just concentrated on those final 2 and squished it even more and got rid of it through an array of different portals, basically.
Yeah, and while he was doing squishing, I was doing, we're just going to say pulverizing. That's the most politest way to say it without going into detail. And yeah. Yeah, he and I have become a very good team about this kind of stuff. And so it's where these things don't want to mess with us. We've gotten a reputation, both he's got his own reputation, and I've had my own reputation on the other side, as we are dangerous when it comes to taking on these evil spirits. And evil spirits are wannabe demons. What I've come to learn over the last year, and what he's come to learn over the last year, is that these demons, these spirits, see, they want me to call them demons. Oh, so fucking not
Yeah, because
demons.
they want you to be
They're
more afraid
wannabes.
than you should be. Yeah.
Exactly. They go after the mind, and once they grab onto the mind, they go for the body. And if they can't go after the mind, like they tried with me one time, then they go after you physically, because they get so pissed that they can't get into your head and start screwing around with you mentally, that they will go after your body. And that's how we found out that that we could take these things on. Now, this is not a laughing matter. This is not a joking subject. We laugh about it because it helps ease the tension of what we did. The other
there's been many
side,
times where I laugh when I'm in a very, very hard situation, even if I'm being assaulted or whatever. I'll laugh because that helps to get rid of the negative tension and put some positive tension in there. Like I should be screaming right now, but right now I'm laughing. You know?
Exactly.
And it confuses people. They're like, well, why were you laughing? Well, because that's how I deal with things. That's the only way I know how to deal with things. Instead of screaming like a lot of other people would, I'm laughing. Because I'm trying to thoughtfully work my way through this process instead of screaming and being out of control. I want to laugh and feel like I have control over it.
Yeah.
Even though at the point you might not.
Well, and it also helps fast track, just like what you were just saying, Tessa, it can fast track you into getting your mind, especially if you've only got seconds. It can fast track your mind into doing something instead of being in full-on panic mode. And truly, these things, they are frightening. Don't get me wrong. They are truly freaking frightening what they can do. I've met these things in hospitals before when my mother has been in the hospital at times, and Tessa knows real well. We had a creepy crawly in one of my mom's room, and that's what I call it, is a creepy crawly, because it literally slithered and then got up like a dog and walked, and then it went to the ceiling, and it went to a corner of this eye and went, oh, hell no. You are not going to be in here with my mother. You are not.
Well, and you were in denial for a little bit, and you're like, no.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, hell yeah. Like, that is coming after you, sister. That was scary.
And they were right.
You're trying to deny it and trying to fathom, like, what is actually going on. But this thing is actually, like, slithering around and trying to eat up whatever energy it can. It's freaking insane what happens in nursing homes. I swear to God. There's so many stories.
And hospitals, yeah.
Well,
and so every time my mom ends up in the hospital, I'm sorry, Robert, I interrupted. Go on.
I said, and caravan parks, because one of the first ones that I dealt with, actually BTO was there with me as well on the call, and I don't know if it's been in here at all, Angela, and not Gnome Drew, but the other Nomi.
Yeah, Nomi. Yeah.
Yeah. They were all there as well. And this thing had gone after Angela in her caravan park. Like, she'd heard things on the outside of her door. And at then one point she said, well, I can't breathe. And it had gone into her lungs. So I got my ass over there. Not physically, obviously, but I got my ass over there, and I basically reached in, grabbed it, yanked it out of her, and as soon as I did that, she could breathe again. And BTO was there, and as I said, on the call as well, and he said, let me help, and I said, okay, sure. And he opened up a portal himself, because he could do that too. I don't know if you knew that, but he could do that, so I just threw this thing as hard as I could into this thing that BTO had made, and gone. And she could breathe again.
And not a lot of people can create portals. That is a very specific technique and ability, and it takes a very specific kind of energy and frequency to be able to do it. Not everybody can do that. So it's a specialized talent, and that's something I wish I could do, but nope. On the same token, no, I don't.
Honey boo boo child.
And he's laughing. He's laughing. So, yeah. He amazes me with his ability to be able to, and BTO, oh my God, things that man could do. Anyway, I don't mean BTO. It that way. Don't give me that look.
No, but God, you talk Robert. About BTO, and he's always like,
a friend.
Never mind, nobody's really listening. Anyways, yes, I am. Keep talking. It's kind of like that progressive commercial where that girl's like, I talk like this all the time and blah, blah, blah. Every time a man would approach, she'd do something annoying and they'd like immediately turn around and go back to where they're going. And then Flo's like, why'd you stop? I was listening. There's a lot of things out there that we all experience that we're listening to because we're all experiencing it too. It's like very interesting for sure.
Yeah, very much so.
I talk like this all the time.
And it's obnoxious.
Sorry, this just isn't my scene.
No kidding.
What day is it? What day is it, George?
It's kind of like Periscope. This just isn't really my scene. I think I'm going to move over to YouTube, but I think I need an Ethernet cord because it's kind of choppy at the moment.
Yeah, you're a
Sorry.
little fuzzy, and then it comes back and gets clear, and then goes a little fuzzy again, and then
I'm all
it's clear
frozen
again.
forever, even though the minutes are counting down, except for right now. They're not. It's just all still
dear.
over there. What do I do? Nothing. I'm just going to let it go till next time. I try.
It's a living room.
But every time I go onto Periscope, it's like I see people masturbating or people having sex, and I'm trying to start my show, and I'm just like, what world am I in right now? And I have at least 1,000 followers over there. Had I that on YouTube, I'd be like where I want to be right now, where I could do YouTube Live on my cell phone and stuff. So you guys go to We Are Paradox Media on YouTube and please subscribe so we can do the cell phone lives. Otherwise, you'll get leftovers.
Yeah, all you Periscopians, get off, and not that way, but get off. And
Get off and then get on.
Go over to YouTube. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Go over to the
Oh
tube.
my god.
Not the boob tube, but the YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Man,
there's so
life
much-
has been crazy, and a lot of people are freaking out because they're not used to their kids being home. To me, it hasn't been so bad. Been trying to keep them active we've planted sugar baby watermelons, which are the little ones, and then Charleston gray watermelons, which are the big ones, and then cantaloupes, and then I've got my little buddies growing, which is my weed plants, and then we've got some other things going on, but trying to keep them busy with that and housework and yard work and such. But then they go back to the electronic age, which is just a part of our lives anymore. If we lose internet, God forbid, the world is going to be a totally different place. Like, we're all going to be ripping off our heads and drop kicking them into the horse field next door.
It won't actually become a thing again.
Goodbye. Goodbye, head. Never really needed you anyways. But
Yeah,
good
back
Lord.
in the day when landlines were a thing and long cords were
And
for
party
the-
lines. Do you remember party
Oh
lines?
dear God, no.
I remember being at my granny's
Oh.
house, and I'd go to call my dad, and there'd be some old lady and some old other lady or some old guy or whoever talking. Hey, I just want to call my daddy. Can I call my daddy? They're like, yeah, give us about 30 minutes. You get back on there, and they're still talking. Hey, I need to call my daddy. Are you guys done yet? No. Give us another 30 minutes. So you're just like waiting because everybody's on the same landline.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's nuts.
Party
That's nuts.
line. Like, you think this is crazy on the after party. Like, this is a party line where you can't even make a call because your neighbor's on there.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yep.
Bertha, get off the line. We all need to call our parents.
Oh man.
So downloads.
What? You got-
okay.
Oh yes.
I
Sorry.
think we got into that a little bit last break, or did we not?
Yeah, we did, but not. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we. Say that again, Robert.
Not in depth. Yeah.
Yeah, not
It
in
was
depth,
like the
correct.
crust of it, but not the innards.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to know?
What are you downloading? Like, a lot of us aren't aware of our downloads. We kind of just like crash out and then wake up and be like,
I
hey,
don't
I've been
download
enlightened.
anything.
I just had a vision.
Vision, yeah.
I had a vision, and the pigeons were like all over the place. No, but you get an in-depth like download going on with your psychical abilities. Me, I've been sleeping a lot lately. I don't know if that's the same thing going on, but man, even the luggage, I'm just like, oh my God, like it looks like I have like 2 large-size briefcases under my eyeballs. What the hell is
No.
going on in the world today? There's a lot going on with downloads, I swear to God. That's why they're
Yeah.
building up here. I'm just like, what the crack is that? Even my husband's like, check you out. I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. Like, this shit is out of control. Like, look at this. Like, it's not like two, but three large bundles of luggage instead of just one. What the hell is going on right now? And I've been sleeping more than I generally do. Maybe that's it. But I don't know. I think it's just a precipice of all the energy, all the information, all the everything coming in, and the whole stressing about everybody else is staying home except for my husband. He cannot stay home. He's got to go out somewhere and do something and haul a car and do this and do that and be right there with somebody. The government is paying us right now to stay home. Stay your motherfucking ass home. What part of stay home do you not understand? And even tomorrow he's like, oh, I thought we could go out to Arbalese and hang out with the family and blah, blah, blah. We're supposed to stay home. Like, what part of this don't you understand? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't get that. Yeah, I know a number of people that have significant jobs that where they're an essential, their business or the people that they work for are classified as an essential business. Whether it's in the grocery industry or nursing or other industries that help those industries. So, and it's tough. I mean, it's tough. We all know someone who is in the trucking industry and what he has to go through. Yep, to get supplies through. And we typically hear from him and about what is going on across the country because he's a long haul driver and what's going on in different states. Kind of scary what's going on in some states. I know I heard on another radio show last Sunday where Washington State, there was a major highway into Western Washington that was shut down. They closed the pass. They closed a specific pass, and I don't know if it's still closed. I would assume it is. But that's into Washington. That's into Western Washington. I haven't heard about the people who are on the eastern side of Washington who are close to Idaho. I don't know if that's shut down, but I know that Nomi had talked about, there's certain things across the country that are starting to happen, and he's beginning to wonder, or at least a few days ago, he was beginning to wonder if you're going to have a special pass that specifically stated not only what you're carrying, but where it's going and why you're on the road, because I'm sure thieves, I was going to call there's thieves are probably using semis for other things to get things to other places where they shouldn't be. So, I don't know. It's just, that's not psychic stuff. That's just me being me.
No, it's it's common sense stuff. And common sense is not a flower that grows in everybody's garden. So it's important that we're sharing this because a lot of people don't get it. And it's so mind-blowing to me how many fracking people out here don't get it. This is all a scam. This is all a fraud. This is all about Donald Trump not getting impeached. And so now we're doing the coronavirus. Motherfucker, this is all over the world. Right. This is not just here in the United States where Donald Trump has to worry about it. This is everywhere. And this was going on last year and the year before. Give me a freaking break.
Well, every year there's an election, there's something. But that's kind of beside the point right now. It's a matter
of two people. There's more than two people. Last year, it was not just Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. There were other people. But at the same time, it's why do we even vote? Because the Electoral College is the one that really makes the vote. Why do we even waste our time standing in line and doing this? Because we don't really have the power. The Electoral College does.
Well, down here, because it's compulsory, we have to go out and vote. Yeah. Even though we were told to stay home, and a lot of people didn't go and vote because they were told to stay home. So,
yet they're expected to vote.
Exactly.
To go out. Yeah, because you don't have paper ballots, do you?
Well, we do have mail-in.
We do.
You
And
do
we
have
them
mail-in. Okay.
I had to get them sent in to you by a certain time.
Okay.
And like Mum got one, and I put that
I
in
can get a
the.
mail-in because I'm not Republican. I'm not Democratic.
Yeah.
I'm something else that is not listed yet. I do
Yeah.
not associate with any party. I am my own party. I am my own drummer, marching to the beat of a different drum. And there's other people out there like me, but I see people on there that aren't the main two people. People, open your fucking eyes. There's not just two people. These two people have the most money. The other people have lesser money. Look at the other parties on the ballot. There's more than two people. I tell you what. But it does mess it up, like I was saying before, with the Electoral College. It really messes everything up. And I think we need to abolish that and let the people vote. Instead of leaving it up to, oh, I went to college for 2 years and oh, I masturbate 3 times a day. Whatever the fuck your thing is. Let us vote as a people for what we need instead of being like, oh, I'm smarter than you because I went to college for 2 years and I'm in the Electoral College. Give me a fucking break. You are not smarter than me. I have that little flower and like 4 or 5 of those called Common Sense in my garden that is growing and is very rampant. And you're talking about I had 2 years of college. Give me a fucking break. I'm smarter than you, motherfucker. Like, let me vote. Let us vote. Let's get rid of that. Do you agree or not?
I think I think they need to go back to paper ballots across the country because the electronic ballot boxes, they can be hacked. They've proven it time and time again, and government will not. But that's kind of beside the point. But
well, even mail-in ballots recently have been said that these mail-in ballots are missing. They don't know where they went.
Yeah, that's been happening in the Southwest a lot when people are voting. There's a lot of voting crap that goes on. But people, regarding the COVID, people need to stay the frick home. But at the same time, go outside onto their property away from everybody else. God, I hate saying that. But away from everybody else and actually look up. Look up. Look at your street. What is going on your street? And I'm talking about watch the electrical wires. Watch the electrical poles. Keep an eye out on your street as to what the hell is going on. I don't mean like turning people in. I'm not talking about that. But just keep an eye out. And for God's sake, watch the skies. Keep an eye out on the skies. FYI, and yes, part of that is psychic stuff and part of me stuff, but major part of that, all of that, what I just said, is psychic stuff. So probably about 20% of it was me, but a huge percentage of it was psychic stuff. So go out, watch the skies, keep an eye out on your neighborhood from your property so you're not infecting somebody else with this damn virus, and keep an eye out on your poles. And if you have to go to the store, like we all got to go to the store at some point in time, be aware of your surroundings. And I'm not just talking about the normal day-to-day blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about the kind of stuff where keep an eye out on what's going on regarding electric poles.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his lightsaber out.
My social distancing.
Is that human distancing or sexual distancing? I'm not sure.
He's got a lightsaber out.
Wow.
And it's over.
It's a purple one, so it's sexually frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was showing was that's his social distancing. Take this into the stores kind of attitude, and that's my social distance. Back off. And only one person knows about back off. So So
Back off.
if you're listening to Night Hun, so anyway, yeah, just take notice of what's going on. I'm not just talking your traffic, your typical traffic crap, or what's going on at the stores. I'm talking about keep an eye out on power poles. Just keep an eye out, okay?
As well as any unofficial air traffic and military vehicles on the roads, because they can use time that everyone's indoors to run about and do what they need to do, or do what they're not meant to do.
Not last week, but the week before last. Last weekend, no, it was last weekend. It was somewhere between Thursday and Sunday. No, Saturday. Thursday and Saturday, not this past week before. Anyway, Washington State had a flyover, and they were frickin', I mean, talk about speed. And I know the sound of Navy jets for a wide variety of reasons. And this sucker was moving. You do not hear those things very often flying down not down I-5. Oh my God, that sounds so bizarre. But you don't hear them in our area very often. Where I'm at, and you just don't. So when they're flying, you know some shit's either going on or they're flying down to, oh God, the other one down at Fort Lewis.
Got a
brain
Fort Lewis
fart
here too.
Yeah, got a brain fart. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, so you just keep an eye out. That's all I'm saying. Just keep an eye out. There's a number of things I could be saying, but I don't want to freak people out. So anyway, and I probably already did with the other stuff we talked about, but blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
You never know.
No, you don't. I hope he muted himself. Yes, okay. Anyway. Anyway.
Bye, Robert. Hello to your ever-expressive chair. He's like, wah, wah.
Did you have any other questions that you wanted to ask?
Well, we are in our last, oh my God, it just 13 minutes of the show, so.
Wow, are we really?
I know, it goes by so fast. Like, everybody's like,
really
3 hours, I don't know if I can do that. And I'm like, in reality, 3 hours on my show is really not a lot of time. It seems like not enough time because we have so much fun and coagulate and do certain things together that it actually works out to where you're like, wow, we're already at the end of 3 hours. But where can our listeners find you, Nikki, and how to talk to you and ask questions and such?
I'm mostly on Facebook, so it's Nikki Jacobs.376 is how you can find me. If you have to type it in to a search engine for Facebook. Otherwise, it's Nikki, Nikki, Jacobs, and then in parentheses, Nicole, Nicole. So you can find me there. You can talk to me there. I'm also can be emailed at theeclecticangel@yahoo.com. It's 3 words all into one. theeclecticangel@yahoo.com. I'm also on Spreaker quite often on a number of different shows. So typically a lot of people find me there. I'm also, I don't necessarily have a YouTube channel specifically for all I do. I have a personal one that I enjoy making comments on, and I'm starting to get more people on there. Okay, I'm actually going to say it. I wasn't going to. Angels, the letter R, and then the word life. Angels Are Life on YouTube. So you'll see my picture. It's similar to, I think it's similar. I can't remember if I changed it yet or not. Similar picture to the one that I've got on Facebook. Background picture, I believe, it's one I took. It's of a red giant poppy. Took it in my yard years ago. Anyway, so that's how you can get a hold of me. Long-winded story, sorry.
Nice.
Robert
And what
Watts.
about you, Robert? How can people
Oh,
get a hold of you and ask questions?
I'm mostly on Facebook as well under Robert White. Just look for the bird with the blue wings as the avatar. You can either or try and find me on battleliner@gmail.com or Borg, BORG 202 at hotmail.com.
Hotmail. I used to have one of those. But Gmail seems to pick up like the videos and pics and stuff, like where you can get a lot. Hotmail, not so much. I used to be Hotmail. Then I went to Gmail. Damn.
I've got a lot of emails because I used to be an advocate and I used to have to do a lot of different work for a number of different people. And so, yeah, I still have almost all of them. So, but that's the one I use for what I'm doing now is the Eclectic Angel at Yahoo.
So, Nikki, your mom has been going through, holy shnikes, this other computer went black, but your mom went through the whole coronavirus, and they're saying they don't think she has it anymore. Like, what exactly is going on with that?
No, when Mom got it, it hit extremely fast, and she was in the hospital. She was in the hospital for a week and a half. And she also had a lung infection at the same time, a form of pneumonia, and which was rather shocking, actually. She is doing well now. She's been returned to her home. That she was well enough to do that. That was a big deal. When they tested her before she left the hospital the day before, she still has COVID-19. In my opinion, she's still not out of the woods because the doctors had said that she will likely, from the time that she goes back to her home, she'll likely have it for 1 to 2 more weeks before it's out of her system. Right now, she's doing a lot of sleeping simply because that's her pattern. When she returns home, it takes her a few days. So, yeah, it's... oh, my. Mooney's got some info. Anyway, so, yeah, that's what's going on with my mom. I was told to expect between the 10 to 12 day mark is when people like my mom, when they're in that category, not to expect good things, because at the 10 to 12 day mark, they go from being better to unexpectedly getting worse and very rapidly unexpectedly dying. What are you laughing about? Oh, he's reading something in the chat.
Let's put in here.
Oh, dear God, I'm going to have to read it later.
You should be ashamed.
Anyway, so right now she's doing better, and I'm extremely happy for that. I kept feeling like I was going to have the other shoe drop with her, and I unexpectedly found out this week a friend of mine died, and he came to me, and that's where the other shoe dropped. So I've had friends tell me that are numerous different psychics. In fact, they're all of them friends. Did not know that they were giving me the same information. They basically told me Mom is not going to survive, but around her time is going to be between April and May. And when she got COVID, I really thought, I was like, oh my God, that's it. We're done. And the feeling was different too. I have not had the sensation that as many times as my mom has been in the hospital the last couple of years, I did not believe, I didn't feel it. This time, I felt it. And then when she got better, I'm like, okay, I'm real leery of her getting better. I'm really super happy that she's getting better.
It's like the calm before the storm.
Exactly. And that's exactly how one of the doctors described it. So for day 10 to 12 of the symptoms, when they've got all of these medical conditions and stuff like that, but all of them were really surprised she was doing really well. And I'm very, very thankful. I'm hoping to be able to go see her. Won't be able to give her a hug or anything, but I'll be able to talk to her through glass between two rooms. That's a big deal to me. So I'm hoping to be able to do that either tomorrow or early this week to get to see her. But right now, she's doing good. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. So, and I got family that, that when it happened that Monday night, they were like, we do not want you to worry. We are there. We will protect her. We know what you're worrying about. We will protect her. And boy, were they. I even got my butt verbally kicked by my grandfather because I had stopped eating. Needless to say, I started eating again.
Right.
Being okay with it. But when you have family member family who is deceased who come to you and go, don't worry about them. They will be okay. We've got her. We've got your back. We've got her back in protection, and we'll keep an eye on her. And then when you get another family member coming in going, kick ass, kick ass. You listen. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God. Jurassic Park.
What about you, Robert? Like, I know Mama's still at home. Like, how are things going for you in Australia? And what's the lockdown like?
Well, aside from going a little bit stir crazy because I'm wanting to go out and doing a bit of fishing, but I can't. So, yeah, everything's okay, I guess. Mum has been socially isolating herself for about the last good year at least, so this is nothing new. She hasn't been wanting to go out anywhere because she hasn't got the energy to, so it's nothing really new for her. But yeah, I still go out and do the grocery shopping, which is what I was doing when you called the first time.
Oh, I saw that. You're like, got the groceries.
I was putting the groceries away. Yeah. Because we were out of milk, so I had to go get some milk and some batteries for her blood monitoring device, the pressure thing. And yeah, just picked up a few other things, a couple of drinks for myself so that I could have something other than water to drink. Yeah, it's all going okay. I'll be glad when it's over.
Me too, and it's been insane because my husband goes out, and it's been hard to keep him here. And I'm like, dude, even the governor said, you're getting this stimulus check to stay your fucking ass home. So stay home. But he can't. Like, he's just like, jittery. And there's so many things to do here, but he's got to go somewhere else. And so last night I ordered masks for the adult portion of us and then the littles. And I don't know, just stay home. Like, for me, it's natural. Like, I have family. I need to stay home unless I have to go get groceries for eating. But otherwise, like, stay home. You don't need to be hauling cars or doing this and this and that and that. You know, hauling water for your brother. Like, dude, stay home. And I don't know why it's so hard.
We have 4 things that we have to go out, that we are allowed to go out for: groceries, doctor's appointments, getting medicines, or exercise. And that's it.
Oh, you mean walking?
Otherwise, yeah, doing whatever exercise you do within a certain area. And if you go outside of your suburb and the police catch you outside of the suburb doing something other than those, they can charge you or fine you. For Queensland, it's $1,343, I think it is, and then New South Wales, where Andy is, it's $1,000 if you're out just flaunting about and not doing what you should and staying home. Not sure about the other states, but those are the two that are here. Yeah.
That's
I heard
happening in the
recently
United
here
States too.
that it was like 10,000 or less for being out. So
Yeah, I heard.
it's really
I heard
something to
5.
think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
10,000 is what I heard for, I think it was in Vegas. Somebody got captured for being out and about when they shouldn't have been, but I don't know. We haven't really been put on quarantine yet. We've been on lockdown to where you can go out, get your groceries, get water, whatever, and then go back home. They're not really locking down yet. And then this last weekend, starting this morning, we had notifications. Stay home. Don't go to group gatherings, so on and so forth, because of Easter gatherings. And even though you're family, and that's what Vern's not understanding, well, the ranch is more secluded than we are. Yeah, but people still go out there, and they still go places, and they still get interacted with different people. Like, you don't understand. We need to stay home. It doesn't matter if they're way out there on the ranch. They're still going to the liquor store, the post office, the general store. They're going places, interacting with different people that we're not.
Thanks.
And it's coalescing, and you're not understanding. We need to stay here, even though they're out there at the ranch, secluded. People are still going there.
It's eventually going to come down to martial law. And people laugh at me when I say that. It's what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's very
Follow
serious.
the freaking rules on this shit. It is really serious.
Just look at Japan and China. There's different videos. There was this one girl just walking along with her little face mask on, looking all cute in her little short skirt and such. And then she gets captured and put in the box and screaming for her life. Because I've heard things about the box. Not going to go into it now, but screaming for her life. Like, how do you not realize? Just stay home.
There are countries where they're actually killing people on the spot. That's fact. Mm-hmm. Our media is not covering it, but it is fact. It's happening in other countries. This shit is serious.
It is, and
it's
people
serious.
are denying it because Donald Trump said, okay, at first, don't worry about it. Just go to work. You'll get sick. You'll get over it, and so on and so forth. And different things that he said. There's a video that says every single thing he said during this whole preemptive to what we're dealing with right now, but in reality, just look around and use your common sense. You know, put on a mask, put on your gloves, use a sleeve or whatever you need to open the door or do this and this and that and that. Like, take care of yourself. Don't take it back home and stay home if you can, unless you have to go get food, which I've had to do. But like I said, everything's been fine until that old lady was like right there, right on top of me. And I'm just like, I want to say, get the fuck off me, bitch, because you're heavy, you know, but, like, don't you see these marks on the floor and how far apart we're supposed to stay? But I think she was lonely, and so she wanted to get close to somebody. But why are you getting close to me? Like,
That's where I'm like, get. Back up. I'm the kind of person to where now I'm like, can you please back up? Because they're not just, they're not just like encroaching.
But could you do that, like, 3 times?
Yeah, they're not just encroaching on the physical space. They're encroaching on your personal space. That's a big frickin' difference.
You're violating my rights to live right now, lady. And, God, she's so old. I swear to God, she might have been 78 or 80. Like, she was so old, and I felt so bad for her. Like, that's why I shut my mouth. I didn't say anything, because if I opened it, I would have said something, like, very not nice. Like, get the fuck off me, you know? Instead of being like, could you please, like, look at the marks on the floor and move back? Yeah. But I was so frustrated at that point, like, I just stayed silent. And I was kind of sticking my elbow out. But she was, like, right there, I swear to God, like, right there on me. Like, she was trying to, and she had that mask on. I'm like, is this woman sick? What's going on? Like, I don't know what's going on with her.
And some people just don't get it. They just don't get it. I mean, I've had conversations like that regarding religious folks that I know, and not everybody's like this, but there's a few that I know that I'm stunned, absolutely freaking stunned to find out that they believe in attending church. And I'm like, excuse me? Wait a minute.
I am
And
a
we've had
Jack Mormon.
conversations online. We've
Yeah,
had conversations online, and there's a number of us that are like, this is very serious. You are taking, by attending that kind of thing, what rights are you taking away if you transmit this to somebody who has to go out because they have to have food in their home, and you encroach on their space and you end up getting them sick simply because they are trying to get food in their home. And it's like, but they're following everything else. But yet here, this person, it's unconscionable to me. It is literally unconscionable to me that there is that mentality.
You know, they have
There's many different things that they could be doing. Many different things.
Food stamps and such. Okay, so if you are hurting to feed your kids during the day, you can go to the school during, I think it's like 11 to 2 or something like that, to get school lunches. You can go through the drop-off line, get your lunches, so on and so forth. We haven't done that, but there's people out there that really need it because they're not used to kids being home during the day. So we got to go through this drop-off line and get the food.
Easter is tomorrow, and I wish everybody a very good, peaceful, blessed Easter, and one that is safe for them and their family. I don't get to see my grandbabies. I mean, no. I wanted to do something. I can't freaking do it because, hello.
That's what I'm trying to tell my husband. He's like, well, I wanted to go out to the ranch and see my brother and the nephews and so on and so forth. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah, it's not
Even
safe.
though they're way out there at the ranch, they go to the store. Like, Dave goes, gets cigarettes, gets liquor, whatever else he needs. Yeah. He interacts with different people. Different people come to the ranch. Just because they're on the ranch does not mean they're secluded from everyone. Use your fucking common sense. And he's not. And he's like, well, I really wanted to go out to the ranch for dinner tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I can't do that because I have a show. And dinner to me is like 6 and on. And he's like, no, well, you know, at the ranch it's like 12 and on. And I'm like, I'm not going. Like, he tries to get me to go to town. He tries to get me to go places. Unless I know I need to go for milk and other things, I won't go. If I need to go to get certain foods, I will. But good Lord.
See, I don't understand that. I do not understand that mentality. I truly do not. And I'm not like, I'm not one of those that, oh my God, you got to follow the rules, girl. I'm not like that. There are certain things that are vital to people's survival. That's the different ballgame for me. It's like, if it's for survival, you freaking do it. And you're affecting not just you, but other people around you.
Well, you know what?
It's like, that's
a big
deal.
If he keeps it up, I'm going to get a restraining order against him because he's just not getting it. And I'm like, we're on a different page here. Like, we're not on the same page. And you're not understanding how important this is. So do I have to get a restraining order?
It's important.
Because I'm like there.
It's important to his kids. It's important to his
kids. To our kids.
Yes. Well, what about... Okay, we can talk about that later on after party. But yeah, I'm blown away. Absolutely freaking blown away by that.
How do you not get it?
But on a pot...
Because he knows these people so well, he can trust them. No, you can't. And I told him the other day, I'm like, I know you trust these people, but I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. How
well, we are at the end of our time.
That's what I was going to ask. We should leave on a positive note.
For sure.
We should leave it on a positive note.
Well, you guys, like I was saying, thank God the sunlight is here. We have
Amen to that.
Spring among us, and you know, the fresh air and the warm sunlight gives us inspiration, lets us know, even though we're going through hard and difficult times right now, the spring will still come. And we need to remember that, and we need to go in the sun and grow strong. Don't stay indoors under locked walls and doors and keys. Like, go out into the sunlight, plant something. Earth Day is coming up soon. Get that warm, fresh air.
If you're in an apartment and you can't go out the way you want to, open the windows, get that fresh air in, stand in front of that sunlight in your windows. I mean, if you're in an apartment or an environment where you are not able to go out because of this virus issue, then find a way that works for you to where everything, turn your negatives into a positive. Find different little things to enjoy. Whether it's, oh my God, the birds are out singing. Well, it's 4 a.m. Well, but they're out singing and it's a beautiful sound. Mm-hmm. So, turn your negatives into a positive. That is the key factor regarding these evil spirits. They want the negatives. They want all of that. We need to turn it around and turn things into a positive. That keeps them at bay.
So you guys, don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together we are Paradox Media, because without you there is no us. Nighty night.